my sewing room. The theme for today's show is making Christmas goodies all year long. Now, you know, when I was a young bride, I used to consider the 4th of July, as soon as the 5th of July rolled around, I thought it was time to start getting ready for Christmas. And I still believe it's a good idea. Later on in the show today, we're going to see this beautiful doll and how she's made with all kinds of wonderful machine-embellished stitches. Then this is going to be one of the cutest things for you to have to put anywhere in your house. It's a little Santa pack with all kinds of ornaments in it. And my very favorite thing for today is this beautiful little porcelain doll that is really meant to go on top of your Christmas tree, or actually you can make several of them and put them all over your Christmas tree, as I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. We have wonderful goodies, all kinds of interesting things in addition to these. And now if you'll come along with me, we'll get busy on making those beautiful angels. Since I collect angels of all kinds, I guess you can imagine this is one of my favorite projects. This little angel is a sewer's delight. She has bows in the back, she has little pink wings, little French lace sleeves, and more little French lace peeking out. Now look at her skirt. There are 4 layers on each one of these angel skirts. The top layer, the second layer, the third layer, in this case taffeta trimmed with beading and lace, and the 4th layer on this little angel, it's an ecru netting. Now that's one version of this precious little angel. Let's move over here to this one. I'll call her my shiny angel. You see she has yellow wings, ecru lace, and 4 layers of her skirt once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and these layers are all pretty much the same fabric, just trimmed in different trims. Now the burgundy angel is quite beautiful also. She has ecru lace, sort of a burgundy wings, and see her little wings extend out with little pearls and sequins, so sweet. All right, this is a piece of antique lace. Then underneath it, on her second part of her skirt, is a crushed velvet trimmed with ecru lace. Underneath that is almost a satiny or a taffeta fabric trimmed with ecru lace. And then the bottom layer of her dress, the 4th layer, is once again a crushed velvet. Now, these angels are really very easy to make with just a little time and a lot of fun. You know, one of the things I really love about these angels, you can use your old handkerchiefs, your pieces of antique lace, whatever scraps you have, and just put lots of things together. Let's look at her a little bit closer now. By the way, she's just as beautiful on the back as she is on the front. This angel has a little antique handkerchief with a wonderful antique lace on the top. Now you see on the bodice she has a little gathered lace that's just glued around her bodice, and what holds all this together is a piece of ribbon underneath. Now let me turn her over to the back. This angel is meant to be seen from the front, of course, but she's almost as beautiful in the back. This is wired, wide ribbon that folds up to make almost a second set of little wings, and then it comes around. Let me turn it back over. The wired ribbon comes around to make a little shawl almost to go around her sleeves, and then it comes down. Once again, let me show you the 4 layers. The top one on this little angel is an antique handkerchief. Then underneath it for the next layer is netting, and the 3rd layer is netting, and the 4th layer is netting. Now there are all kinds of things you can do to make each one of these layers. Let's pretend, and this is the top layer, let's pretend that you wanted to do one with, I'll get my little shish kebab stick here, wooden shish kebab stick. You wanted to butt laces together and zigzag them and gather lace around the bottom. All right, you take your beading and your lace, butt them together and zigzag them, and you make a piece that's big enough. And then after you get that butted together and zigzagged and cut out, you will simply gather your French lace, butt it up to the edge, and zigzag it. And that is one beautiful way of making a top layer. Now then, the layers with netting are not really tricky to work with. I wouldn't say tricky, but there are a couple of tricks to learn if you're going to be successful working with netting. This is the layer, any one of the layers, it's made out of netting. As you can see, it has a shiny substance on the top, which is a water-soluble stabilizer, and also on the bottom, because working with netting, one does tend to need some sort of a stabilizer. Okay, let's see how we do this. Now, in order to put the stabilizer on netting, there is an easy way of doing it. You can get your water-soluble stabilizer, put some on the back, and fold it over on the front, and then taking your Teflon-coated pressing sheet, fold it like this and put your iron on top and steam it, and guess what? Then we're going to have the water-soluble stabilizer, which is pressed to both the front and the back. Now, suppose you have an area like this one. You see my water-soluble stabilizer was not big enough, but you just need a little piece. Just get any size piece, lay it down once again, bring your Teflon-coated sheet over and press it with your Teflon-coated sheet being on the bottom and on the top, and then nothing will stick. Okay, after you have applied your water-soluble stabilizer, then it is now time to come in, gather your French lace, and I'm going to simply zigzag it down, and you can put pins in here to hold it, or you really, if you're pretty good at holding it, you don't even have to put pins. Now then, you see I am zigzagging and zigzagging, and let me come on around a little bit. I'll pull the pin out so I won't sew right on top of the pin. I'm going to use my shish kebab, my wooden shish kebab stick to hold it. I'm going to come on around, and now then I pull out the 2 more pins, and guess what? I just ran out of gathers. So there's a real easy trick when you run out of gathers, and here's what you do. I'm going to take a pin, come out here, hunt for a string in my lace, and I'm going to pull the string up. Now then, I don't have any more gathers, but I want to make some more gathers. So I will pull the side of the loop that's closest to where I want my gathers to go. In this case, it's toward the sewing machine. I'm going to slip my gathers in toward the sewing machine, and I guess I have enough gathers to start working again. I'm going to just hold those gathers down. I'm not going to pin this time. I'm going to show you the pinless way. All right, now I've run out of gathers, so what am I going to do? I'm going to slip up a few more gathers. I'll just slip those gathers up just like this. Don't worry about whether they're adjusted correctly, because it's going to be all right. You don't ever get lace gathers adjusted correctly, so don't worry if they're not adjusted exactly perfectly. Probably you can't even adjust them exactly perfectly. Now then, I've run out of gathers again, so what am I going to do? Come out once again on the lace, stick the pin underneath the gathering threads that are built into the lace. By the way, the French and English laces come with gathering threads already built in. Now that is all there is to sewing the gathered lace down. Now let me show you the rest of making this angel. All right, I have some little pieces here. You first start with a little doll head, and then you stick your little arms on some kind of a straw. Whatever you want to put it around. Pipe cleaners would be okay too. And of course, I've got to put an arm on the other side. And then this basically is how you make her little body. And then when I get ready to trim her a little bit later, by the way, that's wide ribbon. When I get ready to trim her a little bit later, I will just come in and glue lace around her neckline and make her any kind of a neckline I want to make. Now then, these are purchased. It's almost like a little butterfly. But these little wings are purchased. And as soon as I get her together, I'll put these on the back that makes her little wings. This is another little purchased, the little pearls, and some of those will go on one side for little wing extensions, and some of them will go on the other. You can pull them like that, or else let them go behind her head. And to make the little halo on her head, just twirl some of those around in a circle. And that's basically how you put the little body together. I have some leaves here too, which promptly stuck to my pins, but that's okay. This is really what we used for her body, that all of this will be glued down to, and that's really all you need. This is a wide piece of ribbon sewn up on both sides and stuffed with cotton. Now this little angel will probably please anybody on your Christmas list, and it certainly will please you. Next, I have a wonderful Santa pack to use to decorate your home. This adorable little Santa pack would be so cute in almost any location in your house. You know what I thought would be really cute on this too? If maybe some of you who are like I am, who have grown children, might want to take some of the favorite Christmas ornaments from the tree as they've grown up with it and put some of those favorite Christmas ornaments in this Santa pack. As you can see, it's just a little round bundle with all kinds of goodies poked down into that, if you will. First of all, we start with a round piece of fabric. Whatever fabric you choose would be great. There's absolutely no reason to choose one over the other. You could even use pieces of an old quilt or whatever. If you'll please just press down the hem and then put the fusible bonding agent in here that has basically glue on both sides. And then take your iron as you put it in the hem and go press, 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 and of course you have glued it. Continue all the way around. Now you have hemmed this Santa pack. Then you're going to take a big wad, that's a pretty good word I think, of quilt batting, and then you wrap it around in the middle and then just kind of get you a Santa pack here. Pull it all the way around, and then you will pull your Santa pack up around and just kind of smush it around. Now, you might want to run a little bit of a gathering thread by hand or by machine around the circle of this to draw it up. Then is where you really start having the fun. You can choose all kinds of ornaments to go in it, and see, we've glued this Merry Christmas on the top. We've stuck a little Christmas tree in. Little ornaments such as this little sled, and we have little teddy bears there, all that can be glued on. And here's one of those wonderful little things that'll be easy to put on because it has a little florist wire stick on the bottom. And of course, what would a Christmas ornament or Christmas decoration be without a rocking horse and candy canes? After you get all of those items glued on, then take a beautiful piece of red and green rope, and as you can see that we have done, wrap it around here and give it a little tie. And I think this will be something really wonderful for you to have as a Christmas decoration for yourself or to give to someone. And now we have a beautiful Christmas craft for you. What would Christmas be without wonderful Christmas stockings? I love this Christmas stocking I'm getting ready to share with you. And we have a couple of other little ornaments too, a Christmas shoe and a Christmas boot. This Christmas stocking is made out of the prettiest brocade. The brocade even has angels in it. And the stocking is embellished with an angel. A pretty little angel with lace around her shoulders, lace for her dress, ribbons folded in underneath, and some wonderful wired ribbons just folded back and forth. Also, her little wings are really pretty. They have pearls and all kinds of little trims just simply glued up. You want to see how pretty this fabric is? The brocade has the Christmas angels down all over the fabric. Now, I have another one to share with you on how you put this one together. That is the same fabric. You can see the Christmas angels. Let me pull the string off of that. This time it's done in red and gold. Now, in order to make the angel, at the craft store, wherever you buy your crafts, or dime store, where we used to call them dime stores, didn't we? You can have the little porcelain angel. First step is to glue lace around her shoulders for her dress. The next step is to use a little piece of lace, gather it up, and then glue it around for the bottom part of her dress. Then, of course, an angel has to have angel wings, so take your needle and thread and just kind of gather some little accordion pleated trim here where it sort of maybe kind of looks like wings, and then you can put some little pearls. Let me just show you how these little things come. It come with about 10 or 15 in a package, so you pull off a couple of them and put this in behind, and then I'm going to come in here and either stitch or glue all of these things together. Now that cute little dress she had on, which was lots of ribbons together, here's the first part of her little dress. We used gold to go on the gold Christmas stocking. This ribbon, that's wired ribbon, is really just folded back and forth. As you can see, it's just folded and pinned, looped and pinned, looped and pinned, and then stitched together at the bottom. There were actually two pieces on both of these in two different sizes. And then after you get all of this stitched together, all the little angel, and you kind of pull it and play with it so it looks good, then it is stitched to the Christmas stocking. Now the Christmas stocking, serge it or stitch it, and the way you put the little hook in, simply lay it to one side, and of course this will have to be turned wrong side out to finish the stitching. And here's even a little ribbon rosette to put on the angel. I told you we had some more little ornaments for you, really, really pretty. Isn't that a cute little shoe to go on your Christmas tree? This is done with red silk dupioni, trimmed with a gold braid, trimmed with gold and red braid up here. and a little bit of French lace and a gold bow on its toe. And this is really cute too. This is a little boot. Once again, red silk dupioni. And maybe you're wondering, what am I going to do with those little scraps of lace I had left over from my granddaughter or my daughter's christening dress? Well, guess what? Little ornaments like this are just the way to use those scraps of lace. Aren't those cute little Christmas ornaments? Very easy to make. First of all, cut out 2 boots, then clip the edges. I could get my little scissors over here and give it a little clip. Clip your fabric edges, fold it down and glue it all the way around. Now then, I've already done that on the shoe. You see this one is already glued down all the way around. Then you'll have another one just like it. You're going to glue them together, and then all kinds of little trims. In this case, we had some French lace. We also used some trim on the boot. Now, for instance, if I have this little shoe ready to go, I have this little trim. I'll just glue it down, put a little bit of lace on it, and then attach a little bit of ribbon at the corner, and then we have a beautiful Christmas ornament to hang on your Christmas tree. And now then, we have a beautiful doll dress in Pinafore for you, and this dress is all trimmed for the holidays. This doll dress I think is really, really elegant for Christmas or really any other time of year. As you can see, this is a pinafore like we're doing in this series. The pinafore is trimmed with silk ribbon couched down with a beautiful decorative stitch. And by the way, the dress is silk dupioni underneath. The pinafore is organdy. This little skirt is absolutely magnificent. Now the leaves of the poinsettia here are done by sewing machine. Then the poinsettia leaves themselves are lazy daisy stitches done with silk ribbon embroidery by hand, and then tiny little gold beads have been stitched in the middle. The couching trick is really nice. That's around the bottom using a decorative stitch to hold down the silk ribbon trim. Now the couching stitch is really easy to do it, and even if you don't have a real fancy sewing machine, I'm going to show you all kinds of decorative stitches you can use even if you basically just kind of have a zigzag on your sewing machine. All right, first of all, I'm going to trace off the sections of the pinafore and the hemline on a piece of paper. Then I'm going to take my organdy, come in here and trace those designs off. And then you see on the first hem, I folded the organdy up and just did my decorative stitch, which also caught the hem. So my dress is hemmed. There are decorative stitches on each side. Let me show you a little trick. Take this, if you want to hold your ribbon down, your silk ribbon, where it won't flop all around on you, take these liquid pins, kind of a glue that washes out, and then put your silk ribbon down. As you can see, it holds it instantly. It will hold it there where it will not flop around while you sew it. Now then, I told you I was going to give you some different stitches just in case you don't have some fancy ones. This time I've just hemmed it with a zigzag, and starting over here, I have all kinds of decorative stitches. This makes a little box. Here's a feather stitch, more little boxes. Again, here's feather stitch going up this piece of ribbon. Here's some more just open decorative stitches. I've changed to another one, and here are just some basic zigzags and a wide zigzag stitch. In other words, you can use any decorative stitch that you have on your sewing machine. Now, I have already glued down this ribbon with my liquid pins, and I've already set the machine, so I'm just going to, in this case, I'm doing a beautiful little heart pattern, which is beautiful, and lots of sewing machines do have the heart pattern. So you see, I've already glued down my ribbon, and I'm simply going to do a little heart stitching, make these sweetest little hearts, and I'll tell you what, gluing down that ribbon means that it is not going to jump all over the place when you stitch it. So I'm putting these precious little hearts all over this organdy, going all the way down the edge. And remember, you can use any decorative stitch. I'm using this beautiful green decorative thread because I think it's so much fun to use decorative threads and pretty colors lots of times of the year, but especially for Christmas. Now that I'm going to stop sewing right here so I can just show you how pretty these little hearts couch down. You see how pretty those little hearts look couching down the ribbon? And really, this is such an easy trim, such an easy decorative trim to make, and I think it's especially pretty on the little doll's dress, divided up into sections. Well, speaking of decorative trims and beautiful threads, once again, the Pinafore, the child's Pinafore, the pattern for this series, is done in real fancy terms today because this is the Christmas show. You see the little Pinafore, it's zigzagged together with a beautiful silver metallic thread. Can you see that? Isn't that a beautiful way to zigzag those laces together? Once again, using this magnificent silver thread, the metallic thread, a beautiful embroidery stitch right out of your sewing machine. This is not anything done by hand, just simply stitch it from the wonderful stitches on your sewing machine. Let's see the lace shaping that goes down the front of this dress. It's in little circles that overlap each other, zigzagged once again, as you can see, with the beautiful silver thread. Down in the middle of this skirt, and isn't that wonderful? Once again, the decorative stitch done in the silver metallic thread, and once again, the silver metallic thread stitching the laces down. Now, the beautiful dress underneath this pretty Pinafore is silk dupioni. Let's see exactly how this was done. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is trace off the design onto my skirt. Then I'm going to come in here and shape these laces. Now, let me just share with you how you shape. Let me pull a pin over here. You remember you pin the outside when you're shaping laces into a curve. Come over here and pin the outside all the way around these shapes. Now, if you'll look at this little string that's built into the French and English laces, let me show you how you make it lay down. See, you pull that string and it lays down magically. Let me come over here and pull this one also, because we want to make this lay down too. Right there in the middle. Let me stick my pin in there and then pull it over, and that lays down too. Now then, after I shape all of my laces, then I'm going to come in and zigzag, this time with the metallic thread, the tops, the insides. Then I zigzag the top only of this scallop. I come in and I cut away this skirt part. In other words, that's been a straight piece. After I cut it away, now it makes a scallop skirt. And then I get my gathered lace and come in here and butt it up and zigzag it. Won't you come along with me to my attic? I have a very unusual blouse for you today. Unusual not because of the sewing techniques, but because it is made of a printed fabric. The blouse has tiny little pink rosebuds on it. You can see right here on this beautiful little tab that comes over the shoulder. That's unusual, the little tab. Now look here, this mother did not have any wide lace, would be my thinking. So she straight stitched 1, 2, 3 pieces of edging together and then made herself a wider piece of lace. And you can see right here on this part of the tab. And let's go over here to the middle piece. She put 2 pieces of lace together to make a wide piece of lace here. Can you see those pretty pink rosebuds that go down the front of the blouse? And really the blouse is relatively plain except for that elegant treatment. And right here on the sleeves, very simple sleeve treatment, just simply gathered. It has a little bias binding under there, and then a piece of gathered lace is stitched down on top. Aren't those pretty little rosebuds just scattered out? I wish I could buy a piece of material like that just today. For my Sewing from the Heart, I have a really sweet letter from Becky Sewell of Hernando, Mississippi. Becky writes, "Dear Martha, my grandmother always made me frilly, beautiful Easter dresses that I loved. I decided to seek out some needy girls, foster children, and I got their sizes and an idea of their favorite colors and made them each an Easter dress. One little girl wore hers to school every week. It was the only dress she had ever had. I found these girls through the Catholic Services and the Human Services Department. The Catholic Services also let me know of other occasions where one of these girls needs something special, and I go ahead and make them another dress. Thank you for caring, Becky Sewell." It just does my heart good to know that so many of you are using your sewing machines and your most precious commodity, which of course is your time, to sew for those less fortunate. What a joy that is. Thank you for joining me in my sewing room, and I hope you'll be with me next time.